It is feedback time, where we go back to a previous video and read over your comments. And I do thank each and every one of you for supporting my Mafia videos as of late. It's part of the Trinity of the channel, where I cover and stream GTA Online, Reddit Online, as well as Mafia. And I'm very excited for Mafia Definitive Edition coming August 28th, 2020, hopefully. And so a few days ago, I did a Mafia Definitive Edition wish list where I went over 10 things that I wish for when it comes to Mafia Definitive Edition. And I gave you all the opportunity to partake in the wishing of lists when it comes to Mafia Definitive Edition, which you would like to see in the game when it launches in late August. And that's what we're doing in this feedback video. We're going to go over your wish list below in the comments section. And there are a few rules when it comes to my feedback series. For one thing, I will only respond and read over questions that are focused, right? For example, Mafia Definitive Edition questions and comments. And if anybody replied to anybody else, then I will obviously not read those comments because those are between other people. But I will read over the comments that replied directly to me. So let's get started, shall we? First off, with Darth Chronic, hopefully all the old features from the original game and some new stuff as well. I hope that is the case as well, Darth Chronic. Next, we go to Kyle. I'd love to see Tommy and Sarah's relationship expanded upon. I'd also like to see the friendship between Tommy, Polly, Sam explored more. It would especially add emotional weight in the final mission. Other than that, I would like to see the stuff you mentioned, safe houses for Tommy, side missions, etc. I do wonder, though, if they're going to expand upon the epilogue in any way. That is a very good question, Kyle. I guess we'll find out one way or the other. Before we continue, if I come across a comment that I feel like is giving away a major plot point, major spoiler, I will obviously be censoring it and not reading over it. I know most of you probably didn't do that intentionally, but in the interest and consideration for everybody new to this game, Mafia Definitive Edition, which is mostly going to be based on the same story as Mafia City of Lost Heaven, that's why your comments were censored and ignored. So I hope you understand. Nico also included an outfit I forgot to mention in the video, the leather jacket tie that Tommy was wearing briefly in one of the scenes in the narrative trailer. And I'm sure that's going to be an outfit as well. So thank you, Nico, for pointing that out. Ripped Bagel, go for the entire gameplay of Mafia Definitive Edition. Could you please use your intro outro from 2016? I feel like, it would be so suiting and feel right at home. Love you. Take care of yourself. Well, for one thing, Ripped Bagel, back then I would just let's play it, record it, edit it, and then upload it. Nowadays, I live stream it. So I don't really think I'll do that. For one thing, I kind of like the stream intro the way it is. Most people love it. And the outro, I'm kind of happy with the way the outro looks right now. Even if I get what you're trying to say for nostalgia's sake. But to be honest, in 2016, we didn't Let's Play Mafia Lost Heaven. We did Let's Play Mafia 2, and then we Let's Played Mafia 3, both start to finish. But it wasn't until like, I think, a year later that we Let's Played Mafia City of Lost Heaven, because that was around the 15-year anniversary. I'll think about the outro part. Or maybe I'll just create specific intro outros that have a nostalgia vibe to them, but no promises. Moving on next to Beast Mode. Nice video, GB. Thank you, Beast Mode. Can't wait for my first trip to Lost Heaven. And that's why I got to be very cautious when I'm doing these feedback videos regarding Mafia Definitive Edition, not to unintentionally spoil major plot points. Next, let's move on to Trenton. Let's see, I have a relatively small wish list for my Mafia Definitive Edition. GB, number 1, major overhaul of the map and radar, make it function more like Mafia 2 and 3 with the mission waypoint and player waypoint system, because I think it'll help new players get around Lost Heaven much easier than back in 2002. I agree entirely, and I mentioned that as well in my Mafia Definitive Edition Thoughts video a few weeks ago, but I agree entirely. Let's see, number 2, add a cover system akin to both Mafia 2 and 3. Makes gunfights easy and increase your chances of survival in Lost Heaven, because back in the day, the developers of City of Lost Heaven couldn't design the cover system. Yeah, you could crouch behind objects, but gunfights where you had to keep moving kind of issue with the cover system. I agree entirely. Hopefully that'll be something we see in Mafia's Definitive Edition. An improved cover system, probably a lot more similar to Mafia 3. Let's see, regen health, number 3. Let's see, we know losing health in the City of Lost Heaven is an issue, so why not implement a regen health system from Mafia 2 and 3? I think that there was not a there may have been some degree of health regen in Mafia 3, if I remember correctly. I do know that that was the thing in Mafia 2, but in Mafia 3, you actually had to have, like, stim packs in order to fully heal Lincoln. But I think in Mafia 2, it was a complete, like, I don't know. I don't think it went to 100%. I think Vito had to, like, actually eat something or drink something in order to get his health back to 100%. But yes, I agree. I think there should be some degree of a health gen, like regen. Let's see, obviously you won't regain full health, but just enough to keep going in the fight or car chase. Only way you'll be able to regain full health is by eating food or a stim pack. Well, in Mafia City of Lost Heaven, there were, you know, like first aid kits. So I'm sure there'll be first aid kits. Or maybe it'll be similar to Mafia 2. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, Trenton. But all three of those points I agree with, and I hope we see in Mafia Definitive Edition. Next, we go to God Wills It. Let's see, the thing is, Chicago, as well as New York and New Orleans, is already established as canon because it's mentioned a lot in Mafia 3. And I know it's mentioned, God Wills It, but at the same time, I really wish the writing team behind Mafia 3 would have not included those real-life versions of already fictional cities of the same existence. Like, for example, in GTA, Liberty City is New York, Los Santos is LA, Las Venturas is Vegas, San Fierro is San Francisco, Vice City is Miami. So I would prefer them in the Mafia-verse, stick to the established names that already exist, like Empire Bay, Lost Heaven, New Bordeaux. I think you get the idea. But, yeah, it was mentioned, but I kind of disagree with that decision on behalf of the writing team of Mafia 3. But overall, I thought the story of Mafia 3 was pretty good. Karunzi, I never played Mafia. I know it's a different studio developing the game remake, but the success of Red Dead Redemption 2, wouldn't it be safer to assume they want to achieve that goal? I'm saying this regarding open world mechanics and various, customization possibilities. Well, Karunzi, technically it is the same studio, and there's actually some of the same people that are working on Mafia Definitive Edition that worked on Mafia City of Lost Heaven. Not everybody, but some. Because it originally started off as Illusion. They made Mafia City of Lost Heaven. Later on became 2K Czech and made Mafia 2. And then they became part of Hangar 13, which made Mafia 3. So technically, in spirit, it is the same studio. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, moving on to the elusive John Donovan. He's everywhere. You never know. He might be right behind you. Let's see. If it's the same racing style as Joe's Adventure in Mafia 3, it would be nice. And John, I think that the racing, if there is like a Grand Prix mode, we know there's at least one racing mission that will most likely be in Mafia Definitive Edition. I agree with you. I'd much rather it be like racing in Mafia 3 than the racing in Mafia City of Lost Heaven. So I'm sure that's the way that they're going to build the racing mechanic in Mafia Definitive Edition. Like for the one mission that revolves around like a typical race around an oval, a racetrack. And then maybe they'll also include the Grand Prix mode as well, which would be cool. Next, let's go to Harry Wood. Let's see. All I want is for this Mafia remake to be the game that gets the Mafia trilogy back on track after Mafia 3, which I did like, but it was underwhelming. But it was still a solid, to be fair. I really can't wait for the return to Lost Heaven. I also played the original Mafia as well. And I feel the same way, Harry. I hope that Mafia Definitive Edition gets the Mafia franchise back on track and gets people excited about it again and restores our faith in Hangar 13 going forward with potentially a future Mafia game. Next, let us go to The Jolly Frenchman. I love a crime game that actually focuses on crime. Well, crime's beyond shooting people. An in-depth bracket where you can control be awesome. Something like the Cabaret minigame from Yakuza, except managing speakeasies, numerous rackets instead of a cabaret club. Let's see, some other ideas would be to let players give out loans to various NPCs, getting repayment through charisma or violence. Loan sharking is one of the most common crimes committed by the real-life mafia, so it would make sense to let your character do that in the game. Of course, all of this is pointless without meaningful ways to spend the money you gain in the game. I agree, Jolly Frenchman. I think unlike Mafia City Lost Heaven, I think there will be a money system and economy to Mafia Definitive Edition. And if it is similar to Mafia 3, Mafia 3 does have rackets that you could eventually take over, control, and run. So it's quite possible that there may be rackets in Mafia Definitive Edition as well, which I think would be a fine addition to the game. Next, let's go to Nate. Joe never played the first Mafia. I can't wait. Well, I can't wait for you, Nate, and everyone else that has yet to play Mafia Definitive Edition. Obviously, Mafia City of Lost Heaven, as I still call it. I look forward to seeing your reaction and everyone else's reaction. For those of you that only played Mafia 2 or 3, your chance to go to Lost Heaven, I hope, is a very enjoyable and memorable experience when it comes out in late August. And hopefully, it lives up as a worthy remake. Next, let's go to Bam. I only played Mafia 2 and 3. Never played the first one, but can't wait. August 28th, can't get here fast enough. Bam, I agree entirely. Let's move on to Andy. I just hope that they keep the original soundtrack. It's not going to be the same experience without the original music. I think there was something mentioned that they were going to have like music like jazz from the 1930s, similar to City of Lost Heaven. Unfortunately, the licensing ran out with City of Lost Heaven, and for the current GOG and Steam versions of the game, they pulled the jazz music out. Now they still have the musical score with the epic intro. That's still going to be in, hopefully, because it's teased at the end of the narrative trailer, and it's a great intro. It's a great theme. So I'm sure that the score of Mafia will still be there, but I also hope that they add back that 1930s music that was in the first game. Next, let's go to RAMK. Wish to see bicycles. I don't know if we're going to see bicycles, but we do know that there's going to be motorcycles. But there's always the possibility of motorcycles and cattle in the countryside. I hope that there actually is a countryside. There should be. But whether or not we're actually going to see like cows and sheep and all that, I really don't know. I guess we'll find out in late August. Let's see. Pickies, hello. Let's see. Oh, man. I just hope it will be a lot more similar to Mafia 2, but with some modern gameplay experience. I'm really looking forward to going to the stores, being able to customize your character. I hope that we have stores as well. I sincerely do. Like clothing stores, that would be awesome. At least the ability to buy different outfit sets for Tommy. That would be cool. The garage where we could customize our vehicles, as well as maybe even do some weapon customizations too. And possibly even do a bit of customization to our safe houses would be awesome. But those are many questions, hopes, dreams, wishes that we all have when it comes to Mafia Definitive Edition. And we'll just have to wait and see. Back to Nate Joe. Let's see, that's what cheat codes do now. Disable all achievements. I mean, I wouldn't use cheat codes after I beat it, but it would be fun to use. See, that's something I never really understood. It's a single player game, right? Who cares if players use cheat codes to get through this game or that game? Okay, for the achievements, I kind of get that. They want you to actually legitimately like achieve this goal or that goal. I guess I understand the more I think about it, Nate. But still, like, there's certain things that get disabled besides the achievement trophies whenever you use cheat codes. And like I said, it's just a single player game. It's not harming anybody. Going back to Jonathan now. Look, some of you are leaving multiple comments, so I'm probably going to pass over the rest of your comments. Hopefully you understand. But anyways, John says, I guess the Chicago outfit because it's a reference to the Chicago outfit crime syndicate from Chicago. Okay, I get that. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if they call it the Chicago outfit. And maybe you're right. Maybe it is a wink and a nod to that. But still, I'd rather them, whenever they mention Lost Heaven in the Mafia franchise, that it would be Lost Heaven with no mention of Chicago or any of the other real-life versions of these cities. Next, let's go to Playland. Let's see, I actually prefer if they keep free ride and the missions separate. Gives you a chance to play during the missions and then conduct Rampage and free ride. I see your point there, Playland. That's a good point. I just hope they flesh out the free ride more. Really like the concept of unlocking free ride options in the missions along with Mafia 1 settings. Yeah, they're underwhelming. But hopefully all that will be improved with Mafia Definitive Edition. And Patrick, honestly, I have no idea about that. But okay. Let's see, Brian, awesome video, GB. I want Mafia Remake to improve the AI in multiple save files. I guess we will find out one way or the other, Brian, whenever it comes out. Moving on to Eric, let's see, I would love to see here some Mafia 2-3 references in the game. Okay, so references are one thing. I don't really want to see a younger Leo Galante or younger Frank Vinci or other appearances as you would like to see. I mean, I don't mind mentions of, you know, various crime families in Empire Bay or New Bordeaux up to their own things. Easter eggs are fine. I don't really know or think that we would see a younger Leo or a younger Frank or the others who are at this time in Empire Bay doing their own thing make a trip all the way to Lost Heaven for reasons. But if they decide to do that, hopefully it makes sense and it actually works. But some Easter eggs, some references will be okay. And by the way, the Swift Cola Trago logo was, I believe, already included in Mafia City of Lost Heaven, and those are fictional brands that exist in the Mafia-verse. Moving on now to Hassan, I think there might be weapon customization, but probably just cosmetic only because there's a weapon skin in the Chicago pack. That's true. You're right about that. I forgot to include that. There's the car. There's the white suit that Tommy will be able to wear with the Chicago outfit pack. And he also has a golden 1911. So it's quite possible that they may add some cosmetic options to the various weapons. And hopefully there'll also be weapons upgrades too. But once again, one of those mini questions we don't really have answers to. And Jin also mentioned that as well. So thanks Hassan, thanks Jin for reminding me about the golden 1911 that's part of the Chicago pack. So maybe we'll see more cosmetics along the way. Next, it's Muggle. I hope they'll have loads of world interactivity like eating food in bars, getting a drink in a bar, fixing cars like Mafia 2. I hope that the detail there is expanded. I agree. I wish that that was the case as well. I don't know if they're going to let us like go on top of the roofs of the towers in Lost Heaven. It would be cool if we could. Let's see. Also, my hype has to hit the brakes. Yeah, maybe we're letting our hype get a little better of us. That hype train is coming in at full speed. We need to slow it down just a little. We have no set date for gameplay, which if you can't, how can gameplay 2 months? I agree. I think that they should have released the gameplay by now. They were rumored to have done so last week, but they did not for whatever rhyme or reason. But hopefully we'll get gameplay reveal for Mafia Definitive Edition soon. As soon as we see gameplay in the next week or two, my hype levels will shoot straight up. You're probably not the only one, Mogul. And finally, let's go to XZ. Let's see, if the Mafia game wants to succeed, they must bring smart ideas. For example, there must be ideas of a person who offers money to a gangman to save weak people. Because of this action, there may be many missions that can create beautiful stories. There must also be neighborhoods owned by the Mafia gang. There would be conflict. One of those areas between gangs. Mafia can be greater than the GTA, but unfortunately, the developer is lazy. Well, I disagree, XZ. I think that we have to wait and see until the game officially comes out in late August and play it before we officially pass judgment one way or the other. But just like I mentioned in my Mafia Definitive Edition wish list, I hope that Mafia Definitive Edition lives up to this ever-growing hype regarding this remake to Mafia City of Lost Heaven. I hope it's a fantastic game. I hope it exceeds our expectations because myself and many of you are looking forward to that trip to Lost Heaven on August 28th. And once we get some gameplay trailer, whether it's this week or hopefully in the very near future, I will definitely cover that in a breakdown trailer as well, and continue to cover any information that comes out regarding Mafia Definitive Edition. And let me know, have you bought Definitive Edition already? Are you looking to pre-order it? Did you buy it packaged into the Mafia trilogy, which to be honest is the best deal? Or are you still on the fence about whether or not you want to get Mafia Definitive Edition? Your thoughts, your views, and opinions regarding Mafia Definitive Edition, as always, welcome below in the comments section.